Welcome to Email Etiquette 101. My name is Linda Garrett-Johnson, and I am the owner and principal consultant for The Word Applied Incorporated. In this brief video, I'm going to share with you a few of the email etiquette tricks and tips that I have learned over the years. I am a certified Lean Six Sigma Black Belt, process improvement, and organizational development consultant with 25 years of experience. I'm a mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother, a fur mommy to Foxy, and a fun fact about me is I am the owner of Gima Gear, a clothing line for women who are definitely not grandma as usual. There are four main areas that you want to focus on when you're thinking about email etiquette, and I'll go into detail on the next few slides. The first area is know why you are sending this email. Be brief, keep it short, simple, and brief. Know your who. Who really needs this email? And then is this an action or an information only email? So the first thing that you want to think about is your why. Why are you sending this email? Hopefully it's not something that was taken care of in a previous email, so know your why. Why are you sending this email? Is it something that makes better sense to make a phone call about instead of sending an email? Sometimes it's easier to talk to somebody on the phone versus trying to spell something out in an email that could be misinterpreted or that's not easily understood. And so maybe it's something that you want to have a phone call about. Or if it's something that involves several people, maybe you want to set up a virtual meeting and have several people in that meeting versus trying to send an email out to them, which could also be misunderstood or misinterpreted. So know your why there. The other thing is, are you the best person to send this email? Maybe it's something that is really better suited for a manager or a senior leader to send that email out. It's a thought or an idea or something that you have, and maybe you share it with them and then let them send it out to the rest of the team or rest of the group. So think about whether or not you're the best person to send that email. The other thing is that when you do get an email, do not reply to all unless everybody on that email needs to hear the response. There are times when it's vitally important that everybody needs to hear the answer. And maybe sometimes in an email, the person sending it will say, please reply to all so we all know what's going on. But unless it is absolutely necessary for everyone on that email string to hear what you have to say about something, don't reply to all, because what you do is you start to set up a precedent then with that particular email string where everybody is on it. And sometimes the list of people that are on the email is really large, and I'll talk about that in another slide. But then that means that a lot of people are getting what you see in the top corner of my slide here. They're getting a lot of emails. So don't reply to all unless it's absolutely necessary. The other thing is try to make sure that you're reading the emails before you send another email, because maybe the last email that you received took care of the question that you have. And if you haven't read that email, then you don't know that. The other thing you want to think about is really being brief. Don't write a book or your life story in the email. No one is going to read it. I can't tell you how many times I have gotten emails where it's been like in order to print it out, it's like 2 or 3 pages. Someone has literally written a book. They felt like all that information needed to be crammed in the email, and it really didn't. It could have been taken care of by just a few bullet points with the most important information. The other thing is, if your audience is a key decision maker, like a senior leader, vice president, executive leader, honestly, they are not going to read a dissertation. They are not going to read a book or a story. You really need to keep it brief to 1 or 2 most important points in a bullet point form. And if you need them to take action on it, make sure that you say that in those 1 or 2 bullet points. But make sure that if your audience is a key decision maker, that you keep it just to one or two main points. The other thing is, if your audience is a team, again, keep it short. One, maybe two brief paragraphs, just to what you need them to know. Not everything else. Just try to keep it to as if you were making a presentation like we have here. Try to keep it brief in the email, because they're not going to read it and it's going to be too confusing, and then people get frustrated. So the next thing that you want to think about is know your who. Who is getting this email? Why are you adding people to the email? Are they really needed on that email string? There are times when we think that we need to add everybody on a particular team to an email, and they don't all need to be added to the email. Should the email only go to key people who can then disseminate the information to others? And so what I mean by that is, maybe there's an email that's just going to go to managers. And then they can decide who on their team needs to get that email, versus you sending it out to all of the managers and to all of their direct reports, because maybe they want to pick and choose who needs to get that information, because maybe there's somebody that they really think is not needed to take action on this. So why would they get that email? The other thing is, only add, so if you've got an email that maybe is going to, maybe you're working on a project, for example, and you want to make sure that there's a senior leader that you want to make sure that you're keeping informed about what's going on with the project, only add that leader or those leaders when it's absolutely necessary for them to get that particular piece of information. Again, trust that the people who are part of the team are going to get the information to the right people. Now, if you do find later that the right people didn't get the information, then yes, of course, forward it to them. But only add leaders when absolutely necessary, again, because they are trying to make big decisions or key decisions in the company that you're working for. And if they get bogged down in reading lots and lots and lots of emails all day long, it takes a lot of time. And so you want to only add them when absolutely necessary. The other thing is, don't create a distribution list of a bunch of non-essential people who are getting an email that they can't take action on. So again, think about, why are you adding people to an email list or to an email distribution list? And the reason why I say that, and I'm really passionate about both the leader piece and the distribution piece, is because I've been on both ends, where as a leader, I've gotten emails that have nothing to do with anything that I or my team can do anything about. And I've also been on a distribution list for a project where there was nothing that I could do. And even the information in the email didn't pertain to me. And so I was wondering, why in the world was I getting this email? It took up my time just to read it, to find out that there was nothing in it for me. And that can be frustrating as well. The other thing is action versus information. You need to think about the structure of your emails. Are they action emails, or are they information only emails? What I mean by that is, an action email should be short, factual, and should have what I call a call to action. So basically, what action do you need taken, by when, and by whom? And one tip that I usually do is, when I really need action to be taken, if I need people to let me know something, and if I need it by the end of the day, and I really need a particular decision because I'm tracking those decisions, and I have in the heading, so that it will really draw people's eye to that email, I say action needed. And that helps people to know that, oh, okay, this is an important email, that I need to take some action on it. The other thing is, if it's an information only email, again, you only want to provide the key information. And so be as brief, like I said previously, be as brief as possible, and make sure that you let people know that this is information only somewhere in the email, so that they understand that it's not action that they need to take, but it's just something you want to make sure that everybody knows. Maybe there was some kind of an issue on a project No action needs to be taken by the people who are getting that email, but you just want to make sure that they all are on top of the issue and understand what it is. So it's just let them know that it's information only. And again, be as brief as possible. Don't write a book. So I hope that you found this helpful. Again, I just wanted to give you a couple of tips and tricks, some tools of the trade, little things that I have learned for the past 25 years that I've been working, and a lot of that time I've been working remotely. If you want to get a hold of me and learn more, you can visit my website, which is www.applytheword.com, and you can also email me at connect@applytheword.com. And don't forget to like, share my video, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel. Take care.